Hello everyone, I'm Vidas Vasilevskas, and today I will be hosting this webinar which will cover a topic of organizing and involving project teams into Agile and Lean practices. So I'm myself a project manager, and I'm working in Eylean, and I have lots of insights how to work in a team by my own experience, and of course by insights and feedback and user cases from our customers. So today I will try to cover the most common problems that arise when teams try to implement new techniques, and of course I will talk about methods and practices to overcome those problems. I will provide examples how those practices can be employed by using software, and of course I will give you some insights from customers, famous companies, and how they cope with their own issues. So to start with, I want to ask a rhetorical question: what is a great team, and how a great team can be defined? Because it consists of people, and a team consists of people sharing mutual goal. So basically it contains some professionals which might vary in their skill, and in the nowadays world, a good team member can be separated from a bad team member even at a gap of 10 times the efficiency and skill he can provide. So the difference between members can be up to 10 times. And if we compare teams, the gap is even bigger between the good and the bad, because team not only consists of members, single professionals, but they have their own living organism which must be controlled. It needs to be maintained, and of course there will be always problems, discussions, time waste on unvaluable tasks, and so on. So this is where the team leader role comes in, and he will be the captain of the ship who leads the team, and the goal will be to increase the performance and keep the things going steady as it is possible. So the first role is a team leader. As a team might consist of team leader and the followers. Well, in agile environment, team leader is more of a helper, a friend who offers his hand and solves problems. So if you're a team leader, you will need to be prepared to answer all of the questions. If you're employing a new technique or trying to push a new practice, people will ask questions, and this is where you will need to convince them. You must imagine yourself as a salesperson trying to sell a product. Well, in this case, you don't want to sell bad products, so first of all you need to believe it yourself. You need to find out what are the benefits of this practice and what benefits your team might gain, and after that you need to pitch this idea and convince people. So that is the best way to do it, and they all will benefit from it instead of wasting their time. Also, you will always be the problem solver. You will bear the responsibility of having interruptions, and you will need to fix them fast. Of course, you will be the showman. And last but not least, you will be shielding your team from upper management. In agile environment, the core concept of a team is that team works as a atom unit which is not interfed by external people. Like, external, I mean not the people involved in the team, but for instance company managers, CEOs, corporate, and so on. So basically you will be the one who will be holding the communication between company, between clients, and you will be transporting that information to your team. Of course, there will always be some viruses, as I like to call them, in your team. First one, and in most common cases, I meet this a lot. Well, when I talk to customers, they ask me, okay, this practice sounds good. We might do it, but how do I fix the rejection problem? I have few employees that are always rejecting new stuff. They hate to innovate. Well, as I say also, as any rock needs some slight push to start moving, so you will do some pushing. But by pushing, I mean friendly advices. You will do passive demonstrations, passive visual steps that will make them psychologically follow you. And this is where you don't want to shout at people or demotivate them. You need to make it as passive as possible so that those rejecting people could see in their own eyes that it's good and they should do this as well. Also, the most important thing is mutual goals, because team must know what exactly they are doing and what is the purpose of what they are doing. And all of them should know the same thing. They should share the same idea, because if there is a lack of clearance and lack of transparency in the goals and in the targets the team is moving, some people might understand it wrong, and such things can hurt the results. Next thing is metrics. Metrics is the thing you might consider doing already after this meeting, webinar, if you haven't started such measurement, because you will need to measure your team's performance before employing new practices and after. Why, you ask? It's just because you will need to know how good they are to you and how your team is benefiting from that. So it is very vital, because it shows basically the health of a team. And of course, the last thing is leadership. Lack of leadership can ruin the team very quickly. You can hire best professionals, but if there's no leadership, each strong person in the team will have its own opinion, which will be rock solid, and they will start arguing a lot, discussing and wasting precious time on things that can be solved by one person, and the decision making will be up to a leader. Well, of course, now we can compare traditional teams to agile teams, and the leader will make decisions, but he will also help to lead a team to those decisions if they are having a discussion or a planning meeting, because in traditional teams there is a hierarchy involved. A team leader is a general of army, and team members are privates who are fighting the battle, and the team leader is maybe not a fighter himself, but he is organizing, delegating everything. And an agile team, a team leader is more of a private who is helping everyone and trying to solve problems, and of course shielding everyone from external communication. This is the core concept you will need to understand. You need to be as helpful as you can be, because you will have to answer questions, you will have to consult people, you will have to lead them by taking a hand and showing how to do one practice or another. Now, the first thing I always start with is in each team you need to be as transparent as it can be. You need to make things clear that everybody has the same vision. So first thing, as in Eylean seminars I told, is the board. The board is basically a white space, a whiteboard, a projected screen on the wall, a big monitor, or something that is clearly visible in the same office. In the ideal way, your team is located in one office, and you can share some office space, and you have this corner with the whiteboard where you put your sticky notes as project tasks. If you're a distributed team, not a problem. Later on I will show you how you can benefit from software. And well, but the best way to start is by having a physical board, just because you will need to make it playful enough, to make it simple enough to your teammates, because it will be a first step to interacting and employing new practices. So this transparency board, as I like to call it, will have simple columns which symbolize three states: what needs to be done, what is being done, and what was done already. So you can pick those sticky notes from your monitor and put into those three columns. You ask why? Just because you don't need that chaos on your monitor, and of course you will benefit instantly by having a progress view, priorities, and of course everybody in the team will be aware what's going on and what other team members are doing, and maybe which tasks are ready to be done next. So this is a very important step. Next thing is mutual goals. We have our own task board with those sticky notes, and well, we need to pursue some goal. So our goal is to complete all of those tasks in particular time period. So in this table, I have a simulation of amount of work remaining. Those numbers symbolize points. Points are a measurement of task size. So basically we measure, in our company we like to measure in story points. It is an alternative to hours because, well, we don't like to get in too precise, because some tasks we might say, well, it's 1 hour and 30 minutes, but basically it can take from 1 hour to 3 hours. So we don't waste time on thinking how precise it will be. We instead invest in polishing our estimations and story points, which can give us a better understanding how many story points we can make in 1 week, and maybe later on we will convert those story points into hours. But currently, let's say we have team of 5 people working on total amount of work at 50 points, and they have 1 week to finish this. So each day they make daily meetings in the end of the day, and they lower the value remaining. And this is where story point sizing comes very important on tasks. In LS seminars I was talking about, you need to measure tasks less than 1 day or less than 8 hours. Why? Because the larger the task is, the later you see the progress. So for instance, I want to see progress each day. So each day I have to finish something. And this is why we estimate tasks in low values. So basically, now we can see on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday there is a value going down, and our target is 0. As a student syndrome, all of the students tend to work harder in the end of the deadline. So if you take a project, well, you get slowly, well, at first you will be, yeah, let's do this project. We will gotta do it fast and very effectively. But in the middle of it, you will be, there's a lot of time. We can wait. We can slow down. And only in the last weeks of your project, you will see, oh my God, we are failing. We're late. We need to push ourselves harder. So this is the technique where you work in 1 or 2 weeks periods or iterations or project phases, whatever you call it. The main idea is you plan a small amount of work that can be done in 1 or 2 weeks. Well, those tasks should bring value. They shouldn't be like utility tasks, well, calling customers or, I don't know, finding the right information or law information for the project document. It should consist of preparing the document, signing the document, I don't know, making designs, preparing specifications, and so on. So let's get back to this chart. We have this 50 points remaining, so in the end of the Friday we will need to have 0 points remaining. This is a burn down chart. Why it's burn down? Because each day you burn points remaining. This dashed line symbolizes the ideal path of burn down, and by each day you will see, are you meeting the ideal path or not? So our team was going late until Thursday, because their actual points remaining were way above that dashed line, and only in the last days they started pushing harder and finishing those tasks. So this might already be a sign of few problems. One problem is still that student syndrome, that everybody were too lazy in the start of the week, but, well, they started working harder, or there were tasks that took longer than 1 day, and only after a few days they were completed and the progress was dramatically lowered. But about that student syndrome, it will be also in this week, but having weekly iterations where each week your team works harder in the end of it is way more effective than having, like, I don't know, working hard in the last week of a project which maybe takes time in 1 or 2 years. So this is a way to go. And this burn-down chart with those points remaining should be near the board. For instance, you have this whiteboard and you leave some space for this burn-down chart because everybody needs to see how much story points is remaining. And this will be the thing that drives them. And believe me, the psychology of a human is the very thing that rewards you is when you complete something. And that when there will be small tasks and when people complete something every day, they will feel blessed. They will feel good that they completed something meaningful, and they will strive to do more. So this is the core thing that drives team. Of course, there are other metrics that can help to shorten time taken to deliver product items or projects or products itself. So there are two metrics called lead time and cycle time. They came from Lean or Kanban. Kanban is a Lean methodology tool set, and basically they focus on production. Cycle time is the period when some task is started and finished and delivered. So it's a straight development cycle. And the lead time is the whole time period when the task was created. It means it was planned to be done, and when it was delivered to the customer. So you bring value only when it is delivered to the customer. The longer the task lies in your backlog or in your board and it's not moved anywhere, the more time it consumes, and it's a waste. If you plan too much, then you have a waste, because later on those items might get even out of scope, or they might change, because nowadays projects tend to change features very fast. So basically, you focus on planning for short iterations, and you do not plan like for a year in front of you. Because, well, you might want to know what will be the specifics of a project, but you don't get into details too early, because you will waste time, believe me. And your goal is to shorten the lead time. And of course, the production time is very important, but at first the lead time is always maybe at least half the size of production in in development area, software development, as I'm a representative of this business area. And those items tend to lie down on the backlog, and after a month or two we have lots of old items that even won't reach the production line, and it's a waste. We need to groom our backlog. So these metrics are easily done by hand, and now I will jump into showing how you can benefit from using software like Eylean. And I will fire up my Eylean instantly. So I have this workspace that is already prepared with some data just to demo you everything that's going on in the software. And first of all, what I will show you is how we can arrange our board and how we can manage items. Just a second, we will need to wait until loads. Okay, I have some slight problem with my Wi-Fi. Let's try it once more. Alright, so this is my board, and we are collaborating. I have my team here already prepped, and I can delegate tasks easily. I can reassign them, I can push them to new users. And of course, everybody connects to the same workspace, the whole team, and they see the same view. So it's all of the power sharing information. And everyone that opens this workspace can see what are the most important things. They see priorities. Well, this board aren't so simple because it has lots of steps like work in progress, quality assurance, approval step, and only then it reaches the production, and by production I mean new releases of software. And of course, you will always create those tasks, assign to your team members. You later on estimate them. Like here, this task is estimated in 3 story points. So I can always see the task size, and later on I can use this task size in our burn-down charts. Like here, we have our burn-down chart where we have the ideal burn-down path, as I've shown you already, and we have actual and cumulative paths, which shows how much items we have remaining at particular day. And currently, by this chart, we see a lot of problems here. The first problem is that this chart already calculated our average week velocity. It means we make 9.4 tasks in 1 week, and we have only 2 days remaining until Friday, and we need to finish 34 tasks. So actually we won't complete them in any possible scenario, because it's too much. So also, why this is a problem, we can go back in this burn-down chart and see that from January the 9th until January 15th there was only 1 task completed. What this means? This means that there were tasks large enough to ruin our progress update, so we were late, like 5 days late, until we saw that we are late. So this is the example of how big tasks can ruin the whole burn down information, and well, you can even ruin your project. And of course, there are other insights from dashboards where you can see particular metrics by team member, total tasks remaining, total story points remaining. You can see how much tasks in the project are completed overall, tasks that are due, tasks that are late, and well, you have lots of track time. And by the way, having track time is one of the best metrics for a few of our customers that are doing the accounting stuff, and they like to, well, they have this user case where they have few projects and they have lots of accountants, and some accountants tend to work better on particular projects, so they estimate the project cost, they know how much they can benefit from it, and they put a worker betting that he will be the one that is the most effective. And while working, the workers use time tracker. They drop tasks, they fix time, how much they spend on particular tasks, and later on they go to track time sheets. For instance, I will pick an earlier month to have more of a data, like here, and they compare team members, how much time did they spend on particular project and how much time they are doing in the particular tasks. So it helps them to better understand what is going on and which team members are getting better, or which team members are better for particular projects. So this metric gives a lot of insights, and well, you can even use different perspectives, like you can measure by month, you can use a slice of perspective by weeks, you can even compare users by weeks. So for instance, well, you can bill your customers according to that, or you can give bonuses to your workers if they are doing overtime or something like this. So these metrics gives a lot of value, and of course there are metrics like lead and cycle time here. This is an average value of cycle time, and you always know how long does it take to you to finish particular task, and of course you will always be aware of tasks that are way behind or way above this average line. So for instance, I will take, say, January, and here we have tasks that are located around this average line. So some of the tasks are fast and some of the tasks are way taking way too much time. So we can make decisions and find out what was going on with those items and what were the bad things that were causing this delay. Of course, if you're a team, you will also need notifications and knowing what's going on. So in Eylean, you can easily configure team members to have emails assigned, and for instance, like here, I can just enter my colleague's email, and whenever I assign him a task, he will, for instance, I just drag and drop this task to Thomas, and well, he will get an email that Vidas has assigned you a task with the content of blah blah blah, and you will need to finish this by some time. And of course, I can click this eye icon to track the task. And when Thomas finishes this task, I will also get an email notification that the task was finished and Thomas successfully transferred it to done state. So this basically is like an observation and tracking stuff that can help team managers, team leaders to cope with the all information, and team itself will also benefit from using such board if it's distributed or if they are working on the same environment, because if you have lots of people or lots of project tasks going on, you will need to lower your scope. You want to focus on only what's most important for you. So for instance, if I'm this person, I can just lower down my scope and see only tasks assigned to me, that other tasks are hidden. And of course, I will always be able to hide some scope. So for instance, now I've hidden the scope and I only see two rows that are most important for my current period of job. Well, basically, there are lots of many more features that can benefit you. For instance, import, export from Excel, Outlook. Well, if you're working a lot with emails, so you will definitely like this, because you will be fetching your emails and transferring them to tasks or even Outlook tasks. And of course, you will also have this freedom of configuring the workspace as you like it, because after each iteration or period, your team will know what needs to be fixed and how they can benefit from new features or new techniques in this approach. And by now I want to return to my presentation and talk a little bit more about the last but the most important step, which is called Kaizen or retrospective. Kaizen event, it comes from Lean, and retrospective comes from Scrum. It is a meeting. It is a meeting of team after the cycle, after the period or iteration, whatever you call it. And after that, well, in this picture you see there's two cycles. The first, the bigger cycle, is our production, where we plan something, we do something, we check if we've done good, and then we act on changes, and we repeat it. But after each round, we settle down, we have our team meeting, and we search for problems, we put them onto display, we find solution to those problems, we acknowledge and try to change something to avoid those problems. So Kaizen or retrospective is all about improving. So you can sit down and talk around three key things. First one is what was wrong, second, how this can be solved, and third, how this can be prevented or how our process can be improved. So always, while working on Agile or Lean environment, you will have three types of meetings. First one will be planning meeting. The planning meeting will have to be short, constructive. You need to plan for 1 or 2 weeks at least. You don't want to get ahead too much. Second meeting will be daily meetings. Those are very important. Each morning, it's a 10 or 15 minute stand-up meeting where everyone tells what has been done, what problems they encountered, and what will be the next thing they are going to do. And the last thing is this retrospective meeting where you discuss and improve your process. So this will push your team into continuous improvement. And of course, when applying new techniques, you don't want to get all of those techniques at the same time. you should start slowly. Start with the board first, start putting sticky notes, see how everybody accepts this, and then move on. Start drawing burn-downs, start calculating metrics, and then start doing Kaizen or retrospective events, and move on into even deeper practice tool sets. And of course, there will be many more talked in other webinars, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you, your feedback, and of course, I'm looking forward to meeting you in our next webinars. So that's it for today. I hope you found out something new, something interesting that you can apply to your daily routines. And if you have questions, you can ask them during the webinar, or you can always write me an email at vidas@eylean.com. Those slides will be put into slideshare.net. Just search for Vidas Vasiliauskas. And of course, there's Eylean.com, where you can download a free version of personal tool, or you can have a trial of team version and give it a try with your team. So looking forward to your feedback, and for now, that's it. I will be waiting for your questions. So thank you for your time.